Hello and welcome to another video of GJ Management Consultant on our Business Fix series. So we have a brand new problem and we have come up with a brand new solution as well. So without much ado, let's start. So we have a problem this time again, and as usual, Mr. J is having the problem. So let's just quickly have a look at the problem. So what he's saying, for past 6 months, our vendor helpdesk is overutilized. Its maintenance cost is rising, budget is overshooting, still service quality KPI and supplier satisfaction score is declining. Okay, so which means that the queries are overshooting in the vendor helpdesk. Number of queries are increasing. Uh, Despite that, it is getting increased. I think the replies are also being sent, but I think the manner in which it is being replied or the way the issues or queries are getting resolved that are not good enough to give satisfaction to the supplier, which is evident from the fact that the supplier satisfaction score is declining and the service quality KPI is deteriorating. So when this problem was presented, Mr. G, Mr. G looked at that problem and try to just debrief the high level issues which were there. This is the problem which has been mentioned by Mr. J. So let's just quickly have a look on that problem debrief. Okay. So number of incidents reported to vendor helpdesk is continuously rising, which is impacting the maintenance cost. Okay, this was obvious because if maintenance cost is rising, which means that the number of queries which is being reported at the vendor helpdesk, those are rising. So I think this is something which needs to be looked into why it is rising, the reason for that. Okay, then come the next one. Inefficient ticketing handling. Okay, which means that the ticketing handling process and the workflow is not sufficient or it's not working as per the aligned SOP, because of which the time to handle the query is getting increased, or there is a delay in responding to the queries, which is leading to the inefficiency in handling the queries and poor satisfaction score for the suppliers. Okay, let's move to the third then. Incident open for more than 2 weeks without any activity due to no response from the supplier. Okay, which means that incidents reported after 2 weeks. So which means that a query was raised by the supplier, it got replied, and it needs to be affirmed by the supplier that they are satisfied, but they are not confirming back to it. And that because of that, that issue is still being shown as an open in the final tracker which is being published. Automatic incident created based on the recent monitoring in there. So okay, so which means that a new setup has been created in the ERP, whereby the moment somebody sends the email, it got generated into a ticket, and ticket got created, and that ticket flows into the bucket of the vendor helpdesk team, and who needs to resolve that issue. So even if small queries like they need some information which can be immediately being shared by someone without actually looping into that ticketing engine, so it's getting there. But I think as a part of the normal process, it is best practice that every kind of query should move through a ticket. But I think there is something wrong in this setup, whereby even if ticketing is getting created, it's not being properly adhered, because of which this volume is getting increased. System integrated real issues. Which means that there are issues which are related to systems, because of which there is a challenge, and then increase in the business volume leading to the increase in the queries. Ideally, when this is normal course when the business level engagements are increasing, or let's say when we are having multiple business portfolio where we are dealing with multiple supplier, then obviously the queries are going to get increase. This is obvious, but it's like very high level. I mean, we cannot make it on any this is decisive action that can be taken. This is these problem debrief. So which means that we need to decode this problem a bit more to understand the root cause of these problems. So let's just move to the next page and see what is the diagnostic telling us about these problem which are showcased here. Okay, so let's just quickly have a look at the diagnostics of the problem to understand the problem a bit deeper, basis which Mr. G can provide the solution. So we'll quickly move to first. So number of incident reported to vendor help desk is continuously rising. And what does it's saying that problem diagnostic? Automatic incidents getting created triggered from ERP based on certain events, few duplicate incidents reported, which means that the configuration which is being done basis which the incident were raised, they were like not working properly, because of which some few duplicate incidents are raised, and because of which the count of the tickets and the open issues are increasing. Incident have risen at the rate of 15% for first 3 months and 25% thereafter, taking new tickets creation count from 130 per month to the 260 per month. So which means that there has been tremendous increase in the count of. So I mean, this is a diagnostic of an issue that these are rising. So these are some statistics that shows that there is rise in the ticketing. So the problem which Mr. J was having, that incidents are rising. This is evident. This is some statistics which shows that tickets are getting increased here. Incident resolution rate has come down, leading to the higher, which means that tickets have raised, but the resolution time is slow, which means again that the teams which are resolving the issue, they are not either competent enough, or even if they are competent enough, they are overburdened with the volume. 30% in January and 55% in the May. So which means that these tickets were get rolled over from the previous month to the next month. 20% genuine incident created by vendor for the first time. This is the cause of concern, which means that the real of reason for jumping the queries are two, which was mentioned in the previous slide, that the business has increased and business is now dealing with the multiple supplier, but the cause of concern is that 20% jump in the incident created by vendors for the first time. So which means either vendor were not clear about the process, or even if vendor are clear, the setup within the system is not effective, because of which the issues are coming. So this needs into further interrogation, that why this is being happening. Okay, we'll go to the next problem or next diagnostics. Inefficient ticket handling and the workflow bottleneck. Higher employee turnover at the help desk. So this is a cause of concern, which is a people concern again. So which means that high employee turnover at the help desk, which is inefficient training. So SOP not revisited for last 9 months. This is a cause of concern. So which means that rollover is happening. Teams are changing hand. New team members are coming. SOPs are not updated, and old ways of working are still getting continued. System integrations, system enhancements, new kind of development which has brought into the system, is if they are not being updated in the SOP, then obviously there would be some, there are bound to be challenges, because the old primitive may will not going to continue. The new ways of learning has to be adopted basis the new technology intervention, and if at all there are some changes in the process in which the SOP needs to be amended. If it is not amended to accommodate the changes in the process, then obviously these issues are going to be happen. Inadequate system access to the help desk employees. So which means that even if they are equipped to manage the queries, there is a challenges in terms of the access being given to the help desk employees. Let's say if they want to extract an invoice from the system, either they do not have access, or access is given to the limited people. So considering the volume at which the queries are coming, if its access is limited to limited people, then obviously it's going to create the challenges in terms of replying those queries well within the time. Several communication channels used to communicate with the top 25 vendor helpdesk database, and even recurring queries are getting rollover month on month. So basically, multiple channels rather than replying over the email or ticketing system. There are multiple channels through which vendor is getting approached to resolve their issues, or same problem is being discussed with the vendor through multiple channels, which can be over phone or other methods. But this is a challenge. So basically, there is no uniformity in the way in which a vendor queries needs to be addressed, and there is no SOP which is being created. Okay. Weak governance and compliance issue. Incident open for more than 2 weeks without an activity due to response. So which means that if incident has been reported by the supplier and it got responded, and vendor is not confirming whether he is satisfied with the issue or concern, or he has not raised further objection, the issue is still open, and this will show as an open issue in the normal tracker. There is no TAT or methodology or SOP that if, let's say, response has been given to the query to vendor, and if vendor did not confirm the receipt of that or acknowledge the fact that he has received the response, then it has to be closed within 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever the case being. So there is no TAT which is being prescribed. Response delay from the internal team to help desk for such supplier ledger. So which means that internal teams are providing the response with a delay, which leads to the larger TAT to close the query, or it takes uh, replying to the supplier with the limited information, so that the loop of to and fro communication would start. So this is a kind of a challenge here, because if the person at the help desk is not going to get support from the internal team, then obviously the interface team, which is like vendor help desk team with the supplier, that's going to not maintain the healthy relationship. Changes in the upstream system like ERP and integration helpdesk portal were made without informing the helpdesk team. So this is a challenge. So which means that systems got upgraded, systems got changed, but vendor helpdesk team has not been informed, because of which they are not clear or not sure that what those changes are and how it's going to impact the process flow which they are following. Okay, increase in business volume. So which saying that for fulfilling for purchase order, new suppliers, 10 new suppliers were added, and every month 25 incidents are coming from these imported purchases. Duplicate incidents got created for overseas supplier due to the mismatch in the supplier name. This is a matter of concern, which is a problem to be fixed at the upstream level. Automatic incident got generated through the recent monitoring workflow, and around 5% of such automatically created incidents were never assigned. This is the challenge. So which means that though we have introduced the system of automatic ticket creating methodology, but the allocation of the queries to the relevant people for resolution is not being there, and hence there are certain queries or certain issues which still remain unallocated, because of which there is a piling up of the issues. So all these concerns has been brought up by Mr. G, and if you look at the way the concern has been shown up, is again a mix of the people challenges, process challenges, and the technology gaps which are there. So when providing the solution, all these points are taken into consideration, so that when the solution is provided, transformation should effectively impact the process itself, the people part of it, and definitely how artificial intelligence or new technology can help to strengthen this entire process. So we'll just quickly move to the next slide and see the solution which is being proposed by Mr. G. Okay, so let's just quickly have a solution being proposed now. So Mr. G is proposing a solution. Okay, he's saying redesign vendor query lifecycle. Okay, so which means that the time from which we have received the query till the time when it is getting resolved, there has to be proper redesigning the process, which can be a change in the ways of working, which can also includes the digitization or the introducing the proper artificial intelligence solution in the entire query management process. Okay, introduce supplier self-service and automation. Okay, so which means that vendor should raise a query via chatbot kind of a model, and that chatbot will help the vendor to resolve the queries. So which means that chatbot can enable to provide the simple queries, like whether the payment has been made or not, what is the last payment number, if at all when a vendor has some query for an or invoice, he can get that invoice information from the chatbot. He wants some statement, he can get that information from the chatbot. So simple queries through the supplier self-service portal or through a chatbot. Okay, strengthen ticketing workflow system in the workflow automation. Okay, so which means that proper workflow should be triggered, and it should also include a kind of a TAT basis which the entire process will happen. So we'll see the details of the solution provided in the next slide. Fix upstream issue driving the query value, which means that the concerns which were there, that they were not getting proper reply well within the time, because of which the issues were getting delayed, resolved with delay. So that needs to be fixed, so that we can able to reply to the vendor within the agreed that, and the vendor queries can be responded with the accuracy. Then enhance the help desk team capability, which is like again people capability. And then finally strengthen the KPI and governance framework to ensure that we have the proper process. Okay, so while saying all this, I think one thing, and definitely one of the and last one, is the optimizing the cost structure. So while all these solutions has been provided by Mr. G, I think one thing which he also wants to highlight is that a powered solution of managing help desk with generative AI powered. So AI powered solution, what is saying that? So all these solution which is being provided, that will be managed through an AI powered solution managing help desk with generative AI. Okay, so he's saying that while all these are something that can be looked into, making sure that workflows are working fine, making sure that people are provided with the training, make sure that the upstream processes are providing the information with accuracy on a timely basis. The most important element which Mr. G is proposing is that AI powered solution of managing help desk with generative AI. This is a very, I would say a niche solution, a good solution which is proposed by Mr. G. So we'll see about this solution in detail in the next slide, and see that how this new solution of generative AI is going to resolve maximum challenges which Mr. J is facing. So let's just move to the next slide. Okay. So redesign vendor query life cycle and solution powered through generative AI. Okay, this is a very strong statement. Okay, introduce a standardized tier-based query handling model, implement the clear SOPs, define the RACI. But again, the point here is the solution powered through generative AI. So let's just spend a couple of minutes here to understand how generative AI can help to resolve the vendor query lifecycle, reduce the vendor query lifecycle, and help to resolve the teething issue with the query management. So typically, whenever we receive a problem or whenever we receive a ticket from the vendor side, it got created through the ticketing tool, and we got a ticket being created and case is being registered. So somebody from the vendor help desk team look at that case, understand the case, and then act on it, right? And then basis that he either needs to extract some invoices from the ERP, or he need to provide some reconciliation to the vendor, or he need to provide some payment information, some check details and things like that. What if these works can be managed through a AI solution? So which means that the mail will be looked into by the AI tool. That AI tool will interpret the mail, read the mail, because generative AI is a solution which is based on the LLM model, large language model, that can look at the structured and unstructured data both, looked at it and interpret it, that what needs to be done. Then and after that, it will log into the email, or previous email, or log into the ERP. So all that configuration has to be created through the combination of generative AI solution with the RPA model, or you can introduce the agentic AI itself, which is an independent AI agent itself. So all the solution can help us to manage the query end to end. So instead being human being involved and things are getting delayed, all that information which is being available, and then somebody is going to look into the ERP to extract that information, use that information, and then reply accordingly. So mail can be created by the generative AI solution and responded to the vendor. So which means that the solution which was otherwise being managed through human with so many manual touch can be managed with the help of the AI on the click of the button, and the resolution time is very low. I mean, it's like if it was getting replied within 10 minutes, it's going to take less than a minute to respond by the AI agent. Introduce supplier self-service service. So as I mentioned that we need to introduce a chatbot or a AI assistant who would manage the queries, and this will reduce the inflow of the ticket itself by 35 to 50%, because all these small queries related to the invoice details, payment details, reconciliations, or any other further information that is directly being made available by looking into the ERP, that can be managed through AI, a chatbot agent, rather than somebody logging that query and getting that resolution. Strengthen the ticketing system and workflow automation. Introduce the auto routing of the ticket based on the category and vendor type. So which means that bucketing has to be created. So urgent query needs to be routed to a separate set of the team, and normal queries would again be set to the separate set of this. So that TAT has been defined, and response time to reply to urgent queries is much quicker than the normal queries. Fix the integration issue with the ERP to fetch the real-time and PO invoice detail payment. Notification directly from the ERP of any change in supplier ledger account powered by the generative AI. So typically the solution which is being proposed by Mr. G is saying that you have to introduce the element of AI, while at the same time you have to amend your process and the ways of working. So if your ways of working and the process is being amended, then generative AI and along with the genetic AI if introduced will definitely reduce the entire process time from the minutes to seconds. enhance the capability team capability, improve the knowledge of the management to manage the dependency, introduce the mandatory communication to help desk team for integration and P2 flow, and power helpdesk team by way of the policy to close the ticket after specified days no response. So all that information, cascading, and the training should be imparted to the vendor helpdesk team so that they are clear what to do and what not to do. And all the integration within the system should be cascaded in a form of SOP to them so that they know that what are things that they to adhere to. So this will help and enable them to act more smartly, more proactively, and then they will their query resolution time will definitely improve through all these new changes. Strengthen the ticketing system and workflow automation. I think largely is the same lines. We have to have a better control on dashboard, introduce the auto routing of the ticket based on the category, enable the auto acknowledgement of the SLA communication, integrate the ticketing with the ability to face the real-time modification powered by the AI, and then fix upstream issues driving the query volume and the cost. So identify and resolve the core problems that generate the most help desk tickets. So basically, look at the root cause that why queries are being generated. It's a because supplier issue, setup issue, some issue which is related to the invoice or PO. So we need to fix that cause itself, whereby we can reduce the volume itself because we are addressing. So as of now, we are addressing the issues when it is coming that how we can resolve this issue. This point is largely to resolve the volume or reduction in the issue itself. So if we can tackle those root causes, whereby supplier master can be corrected, because if supplier master is corrected, then largely all the payment issues, which is on account of the bank account details are not being configured, that can be resolved. And if at all there is some setup with respect to the location of the supplier, all those issues can be resolved if we manage or amend our vendor master and get it correctly being aligned with the supplier. A 20 to 30% drop in the ticket can be achieved by fixing this upstream leakage, and basically this will help us to have the better renewal of the contract. So typically what we are trying to say is that there are four ways through which we can address these issues which is reported Mr. J. First, definitely that we need to strengthen our process. Secondly, we have to enable our people strength so that they are capable and enhanced with the knowledge and the skill set that are required to perform their duties on their job. Third, most important is introduce the element of artificial intelligence, which is powered by the generative AI, and if possible, we can also introduce agentic AI, considering the fact that it has its own cost. So we have to make sure that if volumes are there, and if we can manage that volumes with the cost that is being incurred on agentic AI, then that can also be one of the solution. And fourth, which is most important, how we can avoid the occurrence of the problem. So that can be done by fixing some upstream issues, by fixing some ERP configurations, and making sure that our data is strong enough so that the issues itself got reduced. So these are like four pillars through which we can resolve the entire problems which is being reported by Mr. J. So I think after providing the solution, let's just quickly look at the response from Mr. J. Okay, so Mr. J and Mr. G are shaking hands, which means that the proposed solution has been accepted. And Mr. J is saying, thanks, Mr. G, I'm clear on the solution. With this, I can control my help desk cost and make my process efficient. And as usual, Mr. G is saying that the success lies in implementing it with the help of GJ Management Consultant team, and then only we could able to realize the benefits. So with this, let's come to the last slide then. Okay, so Mr. J is having nap, Mr. G is satisfied after providing the solution. So I think this is all we have for today's discussion. I request all my viewers and subscribers to please, watch this video till the end. Please like this video, share this video, and suggest this video to all the people who are grappling with the real-time business problem. And please write back to us for any problem if you feel that you are having in the business, and we are happy to provide the solution. You can write your query at the below address, and or you can call us at the number which is provided below. So thank you for your patience for watching this video. Have a nice day and